Canada has had much success in recent years bringing in top quality dual nationals, but despite all the recent success, CanMNT has now lost two major dual nationals in the likes of Croatian midfielder Niko Sieger and Jesse Costa, the Canadian-Portuguese talented young midfielder for Wolfsburg. Even with these two young dual nationals not yet fully being captied to their other nations in Croatia and Portugal, this week has still seen both those players called up to the Croatian and Portuguese youth national sides, as well as accepting those call-ups, as they did come out verbally on social media committing to those nations via social media as well as in press conferences. And with Canada potentially losing both these young dual nationals, it is now time to take a bigger picture look into these talented young players and reports around them switching nations, as well as also looking at the potential that they still could switch and decide to choose Canada over Portugal and Croatia, two massive powerhouses in the world of football in Europe. But both of these players have caused tremendous hype throughout Canadian soccer this past week, of course with Niko Sigur and Jesse Costa lighting up the CanMNT media. But most recently Niko Sieger, the young Croatian and Canadian, has been the highlight of dual national conversation. But this past week has seen Niko Sieger called up to the Croatian U21 squad and as well also accepting that call up to join the Croatian U21 side. Yes, seeing Niko Sieger called up to the Croatian youth side might be a massive blow to the CanMNT, but this still doesn't mean we have completely lost the young, talented dual national midfielder who also came from York University and now is of course playing for Hajduk Split in the Croatian First Division. And with Niko Sieger playing for the Croatian U21 side, it still doesn't captie him away from Canada, as he would still need to make multiple senior team appearances and minutes to officially be out of the CanMNT eligibility, which is of course a huge key and factor element to him being a captive to Croatia and being fully out of it for the CanMNT. But Niko Sieger may have chosen the Croatian side, but looking at his short but young career so far is nothing short of exceptional. With Niko Sieger this season in its first year of Hajduk Split in the Croatian First Division has been sensational at only the age of 19 years of age in a very good league. This season for Sieger, he has seen him walk into the Hajduk Split side, who have been absolutely brilliant, seeing the club finish in second place in a very good Croatian First Division league, as they have finished only 10 points behind the almighty Dinamo Zagreb, who always dominate the division and are known for running the Croatian league. But Hajduk Split is of course a great side, and the fact that Niko Sieger at the age of 19 has been able to walk into this squad shouts lyrical to how good he truly is as a footballer. But Niko Sieger has also managed to come into this side, earning 7 appearances for the club, as well as starting all 7 matches, while still managing to tally 604 minutes throughout league play. But Niko Sieger, looking at his positional sense and what he brings you on the pitch, is Niko Sieger is naturally a holding midfielder, is very good at playing at the heart of the midfield, which is of course a key position of need for the CanMNT with Atiba Hutchinson on the verge of retirement. And yes, right now Niko Sieger might currently not be playing with Hajduk Split at the number 6 position at the heart of the midfield, as he has been used at right back and full back as well as center back for Hajduk Split. Shows his versatility and why he is such an exciting player as well, which Herdman does love. But Canada right now has a potential replacement for Atiba Hutchinson, the true GOAT of Canadian soccer, as well as having the likes of Victor Lattori. But Niko Sieger is looking a step ahead at only the age of 19 and doing it on a much better side with Hajduk Split, which of course Victor Lattori is doing it in the Scottish Premiership, which is still a very good league, with Ross County, who of course today did earn themselves security of staying in the Scottish Premiership, the first flight. But either way, Lattori and Sieger would be amazing players to replace Hutchinson, and to see them battle it out for the role would be nothing but exciting for any Canadian fan to see two young number 6s and hungry Canadian players playing in Europe, fighting to replace our true GOAT in Canadian soccer. But Niko Sieger is also extremely versatile, which is a huge attribute that, of course, John Herdman, our manager, loves to have in his players, as Nico Sieger can be used anywhere from right back to center back, but shows most of his talent right now and his true promise in midfield. With Niko Sigur joining the Croatian U21 side, he even was quoted in a statement saying, "Croatia is my family's homeland, and that's why I want to wear that beautiful Croatian jersey in the future." And even with Niko Sigur saying these things and joining the Croatian U21 side, Canadians can still keep hope, as he will not yet be fully captained and can always still choose Canada. And that is why that is so exciting for me, guys. Yes, he may be coming out with his statements. Niko Sieger has showed tremendous promise, but Niko Sieger still can come back and join Canada. He's not captained like a Fikayo Tomori or anyone of that sort just yet. So it's going to be very intriguing to see what happens with Niko Sieger with his time with Croatia right now. But there's also one more young Canadian dual national who got the call up to represent his nation in youth competitions, and that is Jesse Costa, another player which I truly love and I think has a huge future with the Canadian men's national team. Jesse Costa got the call up this past week, the same day that Niko Sieger saw him get the call up as well. With Jesse Costa won't be representing a U21 side like the counterpart in Nico Sieger, but Jesse Costa, on the other hand, will be representing and has accepted a call-up to represent Portugal's U18 side. But just like Nico Sieger, this won't captain Jesse Costa to the Portugal national team, as he still needs, of course, to make those senior appearances and get those minutes. So that is not a huge blow yet for the CanMNT, as I don't think right now Jesse Costa would break that Portuguese side, but I will get to that in just a second. But as Jesse Costa came out on Twitter after getting called up to the Portugal with a very telling statement, in my opinion, as Jesse Costa said this on Twitter: "I can't express the happiness I'm feeling at this moment, getting called up to represent my country in my first tournament," which to me is a very telling statement and is a huge statement for Jesse Costa to come out with, because of course states saying this is his first tournament for his country, which is kind of pushing Canada to the side, which is very interesting, which to me shows where his true passion and his allegiances lies with Portugal right now over Canada, which might not be true, but from that statement it's very telling in my eyes, as he has already been involved in a tournament with Canada. So that was, of course, Canada's U20 side, where he had 4 appearances, also tallying a goal. So the fact that he says his country's first ever tournament with his country's first tournament kind of throws Canada to the side and puts a bit of shade on Canada there. But it is very telling. It's going to be very interesting. It's only U18s, so it's nothing to harp on about. But Jesse Costa is also most known for a midfielder, as playing as a box-to-box role, or also being able to push up and play the number 10 as well as a central midfielder. And he's a truly exciting player that I love to see, and I could see one day in the Canadian men's national side. Costa is currently right now playing for Wolfsburg in the German Football League, playing for their U19 side, their developmental team right now in youth football. This season he has seen Jesse Costa playing in 10 matches while only earning 4 starts and tallying 320 minutes across all competitions and appearances in league play. But looking at it from the player's perspective, from the likes of Jesse Costa, from the likes of Nico Sieger, it's a very interesting picture for them. It has to be much more tempting to play for one of the bigger European powerhouses. Having the chance to play for a Croatia or a Portugal would be a huge temptation, and I don't blame these players at all. You got to look at the history, the caliber of these sides, the players you've been playing with. It would be, of course, extremely tempting. But of course, Portugal or Croatia, sides that are massive in Europe. The trophies you can compete for with those nations, having the likes of the Euros, which is a huge trophy in terms of European football in the stage and the prowess that trophy gives you and the teams you'd be coming up against, has to be a massive attraction for any young footballer. But just looking at it and comparing the likes of winning the Gold Cup in North America, which is in terms our Euros, and comparing to those is currently absolutely looking at it like night and day. And for me, you can easily see why a player would rather compete for the Euros if good enough, over the Gold Cup, and I could see why choosing Croatia or Portugal could sway anyone's mind in terms of the players you're playing with, the teams you're coming up against, the history, the caliber, the likes of the Euros. It is extremely tempting. Just the sheer competition and the sides you would come up against, and just how much history is involved with the Euros would be so appealing to any young footballer. But overall, Canada is officially not out of the running and yet to fully lose both these players, as they are yet to be fully captied to their other nations, but this is as close as it really gets to fully losing these two dual nationals, especially with the comments they both came out with after accepting those call-ups this past week. So Canadians shouldn't lose any hope here on either of these players, in my opinion, as I still believe there's a lot of hope to land Niko Sieger, of course the bigger option here, and Jesse Costa, as it is extremely difficult to break into the nations such as Croatia and especially Portugal for Jesse Costa with the brilliant midfield minds and maestros that they have. Especially when you're looking at a player like Stefan Eustáquio, who couldn't break into that side, and he's now Canadian. Hopefully Eustáquio can do some words of wisdom into the likes of Jesse Costa. But either of these players can still change their minds and switch and fully commit to Canada. But both these players are so exciting and brilliant talents, and all the congrats to them either way on earning these call-ups to their respective nations. It is a huge moment for them in their footballing careers, and I take my hats off to them. But overall, guys, I would love to see them commit to Canada and one day line up in that beautiful Canadian kit. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments, and what you guys think of this longer term, bigger picture look on the news around Canadian football, as I don't want to be doing just breaking news videos. I'm trying to do the bigger picture look, guys, and enjoying making these bigger picture look and these more in-depth, detailed videos for you guys. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Hit that like button, drop a sub, and I hope you guys are enjoying the new style of content on the channel. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments, and I'll see you guys for the next one. Peace!